So we're here with Abby Dykes. Abby, the 5,000 indoors is just a grueling race.
Yeah.
For us mortals, but for the elites, it doesn't look any easier. Can you take us through your race a little bit?
Yeah. So we went out as expected at a really honest pace. We were running 70 points, and that was the goal. It's just sub 15, and definitely got a great spot on the rail, just kind of riding behind those front runners, and that's where I wanted to be. And just about halfway through, it started to. I knew it was going to feel hard, but. I started to get an inkling that I might not be able to sustain the pace for another 12 laps. So, I am, I think with about 5 or 6 laps to go is when I really started to hit it and realized that, started to lose contact with that group. And once that happens, it's really challenging to regroup. And I feel like I had put myself out there and was still just trying to stay engaged.
And how, at that point of the race, when a gap opens a little bit,
right.
How do you keep the spirit alive? Because that just seems so tough.
Yeah, totally.
Is there any sort of mantra that goes through your head, or are you, when you dig deep, how do you get there? How do you do it?
Yeah, it's really just like short kind of affirmations, like it's 5 to go, it's like 800 meters, it's 2 laps on the outdoor track, really just kind of simple, to the point affirmations, I guess is the best way to put it. And I, mentally felt like I was prepared for that kind of hurt. I just simply have to put together some consistent weeks of quality volume.
Right.
I think that's what it boils down to.
Was 15:24, was that sort of in the ballpark of what you were expecting?
No.
Or?
Yeah, I was hoping to be around 15 flat. Yeah, so that was definitely a disappointing day, but I'm not discouraged. It's very early, and I know what needs to happen between now and spring.
Are you injury free? I know you had a little period of injury.
Yes, I'm healthy. And that's like 80% of it, So I feel confident in the small changes that I've made in my training to stay healthy. And just know, like I said, what needs to happen between now and USA's and now and outdoor.
Right. So you are going to go for USA indoors?
Yes.
And the 3,000 I mentioned? Yeah. One more question. The last time the Olympics came around, you were a bit under the radar, and it was such a dramatic race. And now you're on the radar.
Yeah, totally.
So the preparation towards the trials, were you really thinking about the trials the last time around? And this time, how is it different coming in as a pro versus as a college athlete?
Right, yeah. The trials were honestly like a great a fun way to end the season for me as a sophomore in college. It was a privilege truly to be there. I was there with a teammate, and we really just went out there to, no pressure, to just give ourselves an opportunity. So it was certainly shocking for me to place so close, and a lot of emotion there.
Yeah.
But this time around the biggest change is, there's been a lot of maturity athletically and personally that's happened. So I'm just excited to get out there, of course, with a lot more pressure. But it's a 5K. I've done that many times before, and I don't need to psychologically think about it that much differently. Externally, it's very different, but what it boils down to is 12 and a half laps, and something I've done before. It's the same women I've competed against, give or take, for 4 years. So,
including your teammate Kim Conley.
Yeah.
Now she's on your team.
She'll end up doing outdoors, but I'm sure she'll probably do 5 and 10. So,
yeah. Interesting. And you'll just the 5 probably.
Just the 5.
Yeah. Sorry, one last question. Runners generally are fairly literate. You might be one of the more literate runners, being a Dartmouth grad. What are you reading these days?
That's a great question. Lots of nonfiction right now. I'm getting into a book called Quiet by Susan Cain. It's about the power of introverts. I'm really excited about it. I'm an introvert, and it's cool to learn kind of the research that's been done about people who seem to be more marginalized in society. You know, society kind of, or our culture glorifies extroverts. So yeah, it's fun stuff like that.
Any other titles you could recommend? Fiction or nonfiction?
Yeah, a book I just finished, actually I did an audio book. It's called Scary Close by Don Miller. He's one of my favorite authors. It's about intimacy and relationships, all kinds of relationships. Yeah, that was a good read.
Like a relationship with running.
Yeah, too bad it didn't talk about that one.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
I love
All right.
reading.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Sure.